India's first animated live tuition. I'm Mahima, your chemistry tutor, and I am here with the most important question. From which chapter? Any guesses? It is from chapter number 3, that is metals and non-metals. So without wasting any time, let's get into the question. Here you go. What is meant by refining of metal? Describe the electrolytic refining of copper with a labeled diagram. So this question has two parts. First part is refining of metal. Alright? Second part, they've asked you to describe the process of electrolytic refining of copper. Copper and electrolytic refining chodikada question paper illa, right? Yes, so without wasting any time, let's get into the answer. The first part's answer is here, the process of purifying the impure metal. Alright? Impure metal ne purify cheyna process niyanu nammal endu parayunnathu refining. Alright? Simple, right? Done and dusted. Now let's get into the second part, that is electrolytic refining of copper. Copper ne refine cheyan we use the method electrolytic refining. And in electrolytic refining, what is the basic principle? Electrolysis, right? Yes, so let's conduct an experiment and see how copper is electrolytically refined. Alright, here we have the experimental setup. As you can see, we have two electrodes here. Both of them are copper, okay? And one rod is connected to the positive of the battery and the second rod is connected to the negative of the battery. And you all know that the electrode in an electrolytic cell, the one connected to the positive of the battery will be your anode, okay? So anode is connected to the positive. Then you have an electrode connected to the negative of the battery, that is your cathode. Alright, yes. So when you conduct the experiment, that means the electrolytic refining, mind fix. You will take the impure metal, okay, impure metal as the anode and pure metal as the cathode. Since we are doing the electrolytic refining of copper, what will be your anode? Anode will be impure copper. Impure copper. And what about your cathode? A thin strip of pure copper is taken as what? Pure copper will be your cathode. Now, let's see what happens when you pass electricity. Yes, you can see that from the anode, pure metal gets gets dissolved into the electrolyte as Cu2+. Okay. Impure aayittulla copper il ninnu copper endeyum Cu2+ aayittu electrolyte like povum. So, what is an electrolyte? നമ്മൾ ഏത് മെറ്റലിനെയാണോ ഇലക്ട്രോലൈറ്റിക് റിഫൈനിങ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് ആ മെറ്റലിന്റെ സോൾട്ട് സൊല്യൂഷൻ is taken as the electrolyte. Electrolytes are the liquids which can conduct electricity, right? Yes, since we are doing electrolytic refining of copper, copper sulfate is taken as the electrolyte here. And it is also acidified. Why acidified? Because it is to increase the conductivity. Conductivity increase a slight amount of acid is added to this copper sulfate. Alright? Yes. Like electricity pass in a pure metal, that is pure copper from the anode get deposited into the solution as Cu2+. Okay? And an equivalent amount of Cu2+ from the solution gets deposited at the cathode. Simple. So, the equation which answer here. At anode, what happens? Copper run the electron Cu2+, it will go into the solution. Copper will go into the solution as Cu2+ giving 2 electrons. Okay? Now, you can see the cathode is negatively charged and we have Cu2 plus ions. So opposite charge will get attracted, right? Yes. So the Cu2 plus will move towards the what? Towards the cathode, and from cathode it will accept 2 electrons. Okay, it will accept 2 electrons and gets deposited as copper. Okay, it gets deposited as copper. That is why you can see, look, the cathode, it is increasing its size. Copper ingane vannu deposit ചെയ്ത് it is increasing its size. Now we have some impurities here because we have taken impure copper as the anode. Alright? Yes, we have 2 types of impurities. The impurities which are soluble and the ones which are not soluble. Soluble impurities they will get dissolved in the electrolyte. A solution will dissolve ആയിട്ടിരിക്കും. And the impure copper, like not impure copper, the insoluble impurities will get deposited just below the anode. Anode in adile settle ചെയ്തു കിടക്കും, as you can see here. And this is called what? Anode mud. That's all. That's it. That's all about electrolytic refining of copper. And how will you answer it? See, in electrolytic refining process of copper, the impure copper is taken as what? The anode, and a thin strip of pure copper is taken as your cathode. Now what is our electrolyte? Electrolyte will be acidified copper sulfate. Alright? And on passing the current through the electrolyte, the pure copper from the anode gets dissolved into the electrolyte, and an equivalent amount of copper from the electrolyte is deposited on the cathode. Okay? Now what will happen to the impurities? The soluble impurities will dissolve in the solution and insoluble impurities will settle down at the bottom of the anode as anode mud. That's all about the electrolytic refining of copper. And for more important questions like this, stay tuned to 90 Plus by Tuition App.